We are going to get out of this as a family, as friends, as a nation, and who else can do this better than China and Chinese? What do you think? You know, it's very difficult to talk about other people's problems and, anxiety and, I don't know, because, here I am, I don't have that situation. What I can imagine is so small. I mean, I imagine they must suffer a lot, and there's so much anxiety, so much, just so much problems because of this. On top of already the suffering or the pain or the anxiety that we have in our life. So, I feel very humble to talk about this. Of course, I do really care and I worry. I have lots of friends there. They're very precious to me. And then, friends, we are all sort of connected. And just I can imagine how people must be so, I don't know, just the fact that there must be people who have family members somewhere, not in their vicinity. Maybe some of their family members or friends are outside of China, and now because of these travel situation, I'm sure there's a sort of almost extra, because when we don't know things, when things are not in front, then it's a sort of a human nature that we worry extra. And in this case, because there's a too much hype, so I'm sure there's even more. It's difficult to balance, because on one hand we have to be careful. We have to be sort of washing our hand, wearing mask. At the same time, we need to also relax. We need to be kind of thinking about the big picture. And balancing these two, I'm sure, must be really difficult for people. But as I said earlier, who are we outside here? We are not going through this. So, but maybe because we are not going through this, I guess we can pretend that maybe we may have a certain different perspective. I would not say it's a better perspective, but maybe it's a different perspective. People are sort of confined, or people are now sort of, because of this situation, they are forced to be at home, which it's very ironic, because all this life we want to build a home so that we can stay. And modern people just don't stay at home. We are always going out, meeting friends, and I don't know, we just have that kind of, like I have friends who, even without any of this situation, they go out and stay in the hotel, even if they have home. People like going out. Going out is it has become a modern phenomena. And of course, it may have a certain benefit, but also it has many other, effects, such as, as I said earlier, all this time you wanted to have a home, and not being able to appreciate home, and generally we human beings, we always long for some sort of a family situation. Especially in China, you have such a strong tradition of family value, which is incredible. It's so. This is something outside of China. It's waning. It's slowly dwindling, and China still has that. I don't know how long, because for modern people, they don't seem to really, they feel very individual, But family is very important, especially, in places like Asia. And here, I think you have a really good chance also to be with a family. But you need to now also change your angle of thinking. I'm sure we human beings, when we stay together too long, we annoy each other and we step on other people's other members' and then I'm sure many of the home are very small. They may not have garden to walk out. And because of that, must be causing a lot of tension. I'm not really, I can't really give, what you call a concrete solution. But I think being aware of this, being aware of this and talking about this is actually one of the most important solutions. Sometimes we do not talk about this. We don't, sometimes, having these things right in front of you on the table and just looking at it also has a benefit. So, but I think this may be a good chance for, family members to communicate, to appreciate. Yes, of course, there will be tensions, but tensions are also some sort of a form of communication, isn't it? Because, I've met a lot of people elsewhere that they're so alone. They don't even have somebody to have tension with. They're longing for having someone, not necessarily having some sort of a very hugging and loving and that kind of, but just to have a human contact. Because in our society, we're becoming so alienated. So I think here is maybe a good chance for people to, take this opportunity and appreciate. And I'm sure, and then there's, of course, we human beings, we get so bored. And then loneliness, because you are not being able to distract your mind. There's no, the distraction is now minimum. Well, of course, if you are a follower of the Buddha or maybe some other wisdom tradition such as Taoism in China, then here is a good chance to really, because like in Buddhism, really Buddhism, to study and practice Buddhism is basically to study and practice about yourself, really contemplation, really going inward. So for those who are practitioners, this is a really good chance for, looking in and thinking about your life, your body, your ideas, your values, the way you relate to others. Plus, there's also other, methods such as meditation, prayers, mantras. Of course, that's here, those who are following the Buddha, this is a really good chance. And then also not only that, this will also not just benefit yourself, this will also benefit a lot of, we live in a human world. I think it's important that we know we have had so many troubles in the past, so much. Some of the diseases that we had in our life, in our world, is like so much more than this. And in many ways we have improved a lot. Now, scientific progress is quite a lot. But this is not to say that we will not have a problem. We will. We need to know that. We need to accept it. This is also the Buddha's teaching. We need to accept that we have the dukkha, the pain, the anxiety, the uncertainty, anicca, impermanence. We need to accept that. Accepting that, but accepting that doesn't mean that being really pessimistic and being hopeless and being sort of like completely negative. Because things are uncertain and because things are changing all the time, there's a lot of good news also in the world, in our life, in the world in general, and especially individually in our life. Yes, so many bad things have happened, but so many good things have happened. And compared to a lot of people who are hungry and dying, or compared to a lot of people who are basically growing up in a war zone and fighting basically all they know. Many kids, they have never seen a toy in their life. All they saw is like guns. We need to know these things. I think having a sort of a bigger picture. Okay, cut.